up, y'all? Y'all already know what it is. Let's do it. All right. We back with another video today, and we're going to go ahead and talk about Pedro Pascal. Is everything wrong with Hollywood? Video by Moon. I've definitely been hearing a lot of buzz about this, and honestly, I did like him in a different couple movies that he was in, and shows that I think he was in too as well. I'm thinking about the right person here. But that being said, let's go ahead and check it out and find out the know.
Going on with Pedro Pascal, because just in a couple of years he's now seemingly everywhere. In just the last month alone, he's been in 3 major movies: Materialist, Eddington, and The Fantastic Four. This is combined with The Last of Us Season 2, The Mandalorian, and the Grogu movie announcement.
Yeah, see, I knew that I wasn't tripping. Yeah, The Mandalorian is really good. Can't wait to see Fantastic Four. Was a big fan of the old ones, so I'm hoping that they do that one at least more justice than that. But it looks good in the trailer, so we'll see.
Along with his upcoming Marvel commitments. It's like almost everywhere you turn, there's Pedro Pascal everywhere. He's constantly being adorned in the media. He's in every single major movie and TV show, and his omnipresence is almost overwhelming. So what's the formula to his success? Why is he suddenly everywhere? What's the reason for all of this? Well, he himself has actually said that in high stress situations, quote, "There's a certain level of anxiety that helps me do good work. It helps me be aware of the things I need to be aware of. Anxiety is something I've lived with since I was a child, so it's part of my chemistry. I don't know what kind of person I'd be without it. It's something that I manage, but it's also part of what makes me, me."
Hold on, so are you saying that the anxiety within you is what is, I mean, of course anybody can manage their anxiety and, take care of themselves that way, but are you saying that the anxiety within you is what you're using to drive yourself to keep working, or what are we thinking here on that? Because I'm interested to find out.
And you see, he always mentions that he has this struggle with constant anxiety, and that this anxiety leads him to being more successful and work even harder. But when the anxiety is too overwhelming, he copes with this with physical touch and affection. But this whole facade of being this likable, relatable guy, whilst being one of the biggest Hollywood stars in the world right now, is leading to some public scrutiny online, as he appears to try and be this likable, relatable guy who struggles too, just like the common man, having anxiety and emotional issues. But when you actually look at his behavior, it seems like this is completely false, and he's using this whole identity to have public affairs in public while not ruining his massive success in Hollywood at the same time. You see, if he was openly having affairs and sleeping with everyone in Hollywood, that wouldn't go very well with his wholesome, likable image. His family-friendly, inclusive image is essential to all of his Hollywood roles.
Hold on, you trying to say that this man out here really doing it like that to everybody? He out here diddying the party, although he guilty and you are not guilty and everything like that from what we said about a couple of other parties and whatnot. But is y'all saying he out here doing the thing like that? Oh, okay. That's wild.
And yet there seems to be this strange side of his personality that keeps creeping up. And so coincidentally, it seems like his PR team has spun up this word of anxiety to mask all of his strange behavior. But now it's becoming too obvious, as we've seen with the new Fantastic Four movie press tour, where he's been constantly touching, hugging, stroking, and so obviously being physical with his co-star Vanessa Kirby.
Where have you been?
I've been busy.
I know, baby. But
Answering
you can't leave
questions
me
about
alone. You can't leave me alone that long.
I know.
That's a little too long, baby.
From stroking hands, Kirby literally stroking his face, and the two just hugging all the time in public has made people wonder what's really going on behind the scenes. Especially when Pedro put his hands over Vanessa, smiling as though they're in a relationship about to have a baby together, all while she's pregnant with her fiance. And it turned out that this wasn't even the only time his anxiety has led to some really questionable
I mean, that is, I'm trying to figure out, because honestly, in my head, I'm sitting here looking at them like, yeah, they definitely, that's his baby. In my head, that's what I'm looking at right now in this photo. Like, take everything out. We just didn't see the fiance she's getting married to, and so forth like that. And if he really out here doing it, they've been on set for a while. That could, truthfully, I ain't gonna put that out there, but just mark my words. Take a bookmark of this, and then when we come back in about another 3-4 months, we'll see.
creepy behavior. For example, take this resurfaced video of Pedro with William Dafoe. We can see William and Pedro are laughing together, seemingly like friends, with Pedro even slightly touching William for a split second, just before touching William's wife, and openly flirting with her right in front of William, trying to get physical and flirting with her while playing it off just like they're friends. And William's face tells you everything. They go from laughing, being somewhat friendly, to suddenly William looking at him with a very serious face.
Yeah, William was like, yo, get your hands up off my woman. Why are you touching her chin like that, my boy? You just a little too touchy for me. I ain't with all that touchy shit, my boy. You out here wilding right now. I don't like it. That's what William was on. He said, don't let me pull out the Green Goblin. I'll really go ahead and pull out the Green Goblin and glide on you, my boy. You don't want that issue.
Clearly being pissed with Pedro. And to be honest, what man wouldn't be, with some other guy touching your wife up? In fact, there's actually countless videos of these sorts of things, like when Pedro Pascal was on the red carpet and wrapped his arm tightly around Sarah Paulson, rubbing it up and down repeatedly while whispering something into her ear. It's a really awkward moment as Sarah doesn't seem to be into this, but because the clip was so short, it's really hard to tell what was actually going on here. Dakota Johnson's also said that Pascal takes her clothes and wears them, which on the surface the media purports to be just Pedro being sexually ambiguous, but in reality it's really strange and creepy behavior.
Yeah, that's different. Like, you can do whatever you please, but you taking your co-star's clothes and wearing them is different energy. Because I'm already knowing that they was probably not thinking that you were doing that. So, and for them to be like, oh, I don't know, but I'm feeling a little bit like, bruh, I don't know. Like, how are you going to be... Okay.
Dakota also revealed that Pedro suggested that she start an adult content subscription site, all to sell photos of her feet to the public, which was a really strange thing to say. People are starting to think that this might just be a case of a virtue signaling, sexually ambiguous guy, pretending to be this cool, likable, chill guy who doesn't follow societal norms, using this as a front to be a creep. And the more famous he gets, and the more Hollywood puts him in every single film, and promotes him in all the media that they own, the more that he can actually get away with all of this behavior. But people are starting to catch on that Pedro's using a disguise to screw other people's wives, all while never seemingly getting any controversy in the media for doing so, which is why the meme is spreading online that there's something wrong with him but it just can't be proven yet. With people saying, quote, I've never seen a 50-year-old man act like this before. Guys, the famous movie star that goes to parties and raves has anxiety and that's why he must touch his female co-stars. He seems friendly and fun, but a little too...
That one, this has got me feeling a little bit weird right now, even thinking about it, because the way that he was acting, his hand movements and everything like that, he was just in your face and whatnot, and that usually tells me that something is underlying. Like, and if you're walking up to me doing all that extra, I'm gonna be like, bro, you're good. Your energy's a little too loud for me right now. I'm gonna stand over here. So the famous movie star going to a party like this tells me it could be more than just anxiety.
Friendly and fun. When you know there's something weird about Pedro Pascal, but you just can't prove it yet. Well, everyone knows all of this stuff. We can see it in plain view. These strange moments are racking up tens of millions of views, and yet somehow nobody in Hollywood or even the mainstream media calls him out on any of this. Why is he being so protected by the media and Hollywood, while simultaneously being pushed onto everyone, getting placed in every single film that's coming out these days? Well, there's a lot more going on than you might think. You see, Pedro Pascal is just simply a brand. He's the new guy to seemingly revive Hollywood. Not just because he's talented, but because he perfectly embodies Hollywood's favorite currency, virtue signaling. He'll mention every single talking point Hollywood studios love to virtue signal about. He plays into being a Latino, non-gendered, pro every stance that Hollywood demands you to be kind of guy, whilst also being anti anything that might not look perfect for his brand. And because he's so valuable to Hollywood, with barely any controversies, and seemingly ticking every single box that Hollywood looks for, he's now being pushed onto everyone.
Now I'm just remembering, because I did see that earlier. Yeah, on Game of Thrones, he was this same character. It's like he's still playing that same character from Game of Thrones. It's very interesting to see, because when you think about it that way and whatnot, it makes sense on how and why he is moving that way, for sure.
In an attempt
Because
to
you know that sometimes movie stars get caught up in that energy. They get caught up in that mindset. They get caught up in it all. And now that he's been in so many different roles, you got to think about that.
revive Hollywood movies that seem to bomb every single time. It's why he seems to get a golden pass on anything, publicly clashing with whoever he's told is the enemy. Like in April 2025, when Pedro Pascal randomly called out Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling's celebration of an anti-transgender court ruling heinous loser behavior, which just seems so out of place and random. And then a month later, almost as if it was coordinated at the Cannes Film Festival in May 2025, he randomly came out to make a statement about US immigration policy, saying, quote, "Fear is the way they win," urging everyone to keep telling stories and fight back against political intimidation. He was also on all those Imagine videos where all the celebrities fight back against political intimidation.
Fear is the way that they win, for one. And so to keep telling your stories, to keep expressing yourself, and keep fighting to be who you are, he said. I mean, I can see why he's saying that, because truthfully, like, keep being you. Don't allow anybody to stop being you, and so forth like that. In the eyes, especially when it's coming to everything that's going on in the world and whatnot. But it's interesting that he's weaponizing these moments.
He was also on all those Imagine videos where all the celebrities would do
I won't even say weaponizing them. I'll take that even back. I would say that he's even just stepping into these moments and bringing himself into the spotlights for those moments. So I guess, yeah, weaponizing them for himself.
cringe virtue signaling ritual.
Imagine no possessions.
He's also infamous for having these bland opinions, saying exactly what you'd expect of an actor at the top of Hollywood to say every single time. Which makes you realize this isn't about genuine activism, it's just calculated branding. To appear socially conscious without ever risking Hollywood profits at the box office, he won't go as far as someone like Rachel Zegler, but he'll go just far enough as to look like he's a virtuous, moral man. And so of course, casting him just becomes an easy shorthand for studios to signal their moral credibility, without ever actually going too far. It's why it seems like everything he does is never actually authentic or real. He can seemingly say anything he wants, and unlike other similar actors, he will never actually be dropped. He'll only ever be promoted even more. For example, just look at the difference between him and his former Mandalorian co-star, Gina Carano. While Pedro faced no professional consequences for his political statements, Gina was fired from the Star Wars franchise in February 2021 for her own controversial social media posts. But because what she said didn't fit into the Hollywood narrative, she was
Jews were beaten in the street, not Nazis, because... Okay.
dropped from everything and completely blacklisted forever. It was so bad that Gina's lawsuit against Disney explicitly highlights this disparity, noting that Pedro compared Trump supporters to Nazis and supported Black Lives Matter and defund the police without ever facing discipline. The lawsuit documented that Pedro could say whatever he wanted, as long as it fit the studio's political talking points, claiming that, quote, he was not disciplined and required to review documentaries on any of these topics, or even speak to individuals with contrary points of view, or pressure to ever apologize. And yet Gina today is completely forgotten about, while
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't even know who Gina is, and I will say this while Pedro is out here being pushed on everything. And I think if you think about this as a business, and Hollywood is a business, and we live in a capitalist society, so that being said, who is driving the money here? And that's kind of what they did, and they've pushed Gina to the side, and probably even blackballed her in some way where we probably won't see her again until she's about 15 years later, and then we'll remember, oh yeah, she was in The Mandalorian. But that being said, I think that it's really strange, his behavior. Is he sleeping with everybody's wives? Is he like really out here doing his thing and slanging that thing across the table, across everybody, and every executive is eating it up out of the palm of his hand? Is that what he is doing? I don't know. Well, you tell me in the comments. You subscribe, and we can find out in another video when we get an update. That being said, peace!